Two idiots talking over stuff. Talking over. Talking over. Talking over.
What's up, you fucking idiots?
What's up? I can hear you trying to do an accent when you...
No, I'm not.
It sounds like it, and then you decided, like, maybe not.
No, I don't. That's not an... I'm not actively trying to do an accent.
Colossal! You fucking idiots.
What accent do you think I'm trying to do?
I don't know. I think you're figuring it out as you go.
Is it like borderline problematic? I swear I'm not.
No, because it's not any discernible accent.
All right, cool.
And when you say I'm not doing an accent...
yeah, I'm Jesse. You can find me at Al by Night on Twitter. And who the fuck are you?
Wow, I'm Felicia. You can find me at Felicia3 on Twitter and Instagram.
Wow,
Together,
Felicia.
Wow, together we're Tito's. We're two idiots talking over stuff.
I don't know if we can call ourselves Tito's.
Probably not, but that is our acronym, and you did that very much on purpose.
For legal reasons, no, I did.
Yeah, that's right.
It may or may not be my favorite vodka.
It was a coincidence entirely. But you know how you can distinguish between the two is that we have a website. It's www.idiots.fm. It has all the links to our socials on the website, including our Discord, which is popping all the time. People asking us questions. And you could also ask us questions by emailing us at hello@idiots.fm.
I have a question.
Okay.
What's a question?
It's kind of like when you ask something, but it's a little stupid.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Good call. Ask us your questions.
Yeah, ask us a question, but your questions go to hello@idiots.fm.
Yes, and any sexual innuendos.
Yeah, I don't know why we keep emphasizing that, but
we're never gonna. I just want to get one.
I know, me too.
And not from our friends, by the way.
Oh, from a stranger?
Yeah, that'd be too weird from the friends. I don't want like Tatiana doing that shit.
I mean, okay. We are also at Tito's Pod everywhere, but mostly active on Twitter. Although Jesse recently made a TikTok.
I did. It didn't blow up. It did pretty good.
There's still time. You can find that on our Instagram.
I mean, I took that TikTok, the clip where I edited the Matrix, and I put it on our YouTube channel, and that has more views than all of our other shit combined.
Whoa. We're such successes.
Wow, we're doing it.
We're doing it.
We do need subscribers to the YouTube channel if you want to.
That's true, because we don't have a name yet.
Yeah, we got numbers and letters and shit, so it's confusing. I don't know why YouTube does that, by the way.
It's very dumb. I don't know how you're supposed to get subscribers when people can't find you.
I don't know. You got to like game the algorithm, but I'm too lazy for that shit.
Same.
Hey, what's going on?
Felicia.
Hey.
Hey, anything new in your life?
Well, this weekend, while it is a lovely 3-day weekend for me, it's going to be in the hundreds, so I'm not going anywhere. And I already had one small blackout early this morning, so hoping that doesn't keep happening.
I asked you if you wanted to watch stuff twice yesterday because the first time you didn't respond, I thought maybe you didn't have power.
Oh.
I did that math.
Well, fortunately, I did. I was just watching stuff in preparation for this.
Yeah.
But who knows today or tomorrow when it's supposed to be even hotter. I'm also glad we're recording this earlier than usual, which is great because then I can use air conditioning when it truly gets awful.
I saw on Reddit that California like power companies were asking people to turn their stuff off at like 4 p.m. And
They-
every single comment was "fuck you" that I
Yeah.
saw.
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, California Power Company is not beloved.
No.
It's like supposedly potentially responsible for past wildfires, so they have like planned blackouts that they'll do where they'll notify you ahead of time that you're going to lose power for like 2 days.
God
It
damn.
hasn't happened in a while, but in the heat of fire season, they will occasionally just be like, by the way, we're going to turn off your power for like 3 days just in case, even though it's our fault, not yours.
That's really stupid.
Yes, it is. So
I
I'm
was like,
just
I
hoping.
just thought it was crazy to see every single comment be like, "Fuck you, I'm keeping my AC on." But it's like,
Yeah.
you would think, I guess it's people that are so jaded by past requests. But when
Oh,
I was reading, I was like, wouldn't you
No,
just want to do that to preserve your power grid?
No, it's
No, I just
legitimately
don't
like
give a fuck.
universal distrust of the power company because they're shady
So-
as fuck.
That's weird to me, man.
It's
I was
literally
laughing.
because of our wildfires being
Yeah.
their fault. Yeah. So, that's always a concern when it gets real hot and then we get all these notifications that we're on like active fire watch.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed. But other than
Super fun.
that, I'm reading books again.
Oh no.
Oh shit. No, that wasn't a no.
Oh no, don't do it.
What was
What kind of, I don't know. Who says no, don't read books?
I don't know.
That's I wanted to say it for the first time.
Oh no.
Oh no, you're gonna ruin your whole life.
According to some.
What if you can't stop?
Oh, it's just gonna be a habit. I'm gonna have to
It's been
spend
a
a lot of
fun
money
show.
on. Yeah.
We can't be two idiots sitting silently reading.
You're right. It'll only be one idiot.
Do you think we could be two idiots sitting silently reading? Would people listen to that?
No.
What if we did little interstitials?
No.
What if we read the same book and then discussed it when I got to the chapter you got? Like, you're gonna read
In real time.
You're gonna read 3 chapters by the time I'm done with 1. So what if you read ahead and you just told me what happened? I could skip to chapter
That
4.
sounds like a bad podcast.
Oh, we could figure it out.
No,
Two
how about
idiots
we
being
just keep doing
silent
this
together.
and then I'll talk about what I read. So
Okay.
I talked a little bit about what I was reading last week called In Defense of Witches. So I finished that. It was good. It leaned a little bit more like the patriarchy is responsible for women feeling the need to have children, and then
Yeah.
which is, their argument was very valid, but it spent a lot of chapters on that, and as someone without children, I was kind of like, okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
But overall it was a good read. And then like 2 days ago, I started Janette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. She was a Nickelodeon kid.
Dude, I've heard about this book from like 5 different people.
Yeah, I kept hearing about it on I think mostly Twitter. And I think so the reason I was interested is she's a Nickelodeon kid, and like since her book came out, there's been a lot of unmasking of like Nickelodeon execs for problematic behavior.
Uh-huh.
So I was kind of thinking this would be more of an expose than it was. What it really was just like an autobiography about growing up with an abusive mother who was vicariously living her dream of being an actress through her 8-year-old child at the time, and like growing up in that industry and how it fucks you up. There was a little bit about Nickelodeon, but it was more just about her unfortunately quite sad life. It was a good read, but it was also real weird to hear like someone from Nickelodeon talking about their sex life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was, so I actually didn't technically read it. I got the audiobook because it was free to me. But it was narrated by the author, so I think that kind of adds to it, like the emotions that she's expressing as she's reading it. Like at one point, she actually gets really emotional and almost starts to cry as she's reading it. So yeah, it's a interesting read, worthwhile. It's pretty short, so I think I listened to it in 2 days. But not quite the like expose of Nickelodeon I was expecting.
I thought about picking it up because I too have parental issues.
Yeah, I think
But
it's worthwhile.
I've heard it's good.
Especially if you're not a big reader, doing the audiobook that she's narrating, I think is a good option.
You should go back and watch the last episode of the rehearsal after you finish reading that.
Yeah.
And
I
then-
was getting big rehearsal vibes from it.
Yeah, that kid, that poor fucking kid. Oh man. I have a 3-day weekend. That's new in my life.
Kind
I've-
of, but you're also on call.
No, not yet. I'm on call on Monday, so I have like a 2-day weekend, and then like hopefully I don't get any calls on Monday.
Fingers crossed.
But I'm by myself because
You
Miriam
are.
went to Dragon Con.
She's meeting exciting folks
I
and
don't know.
doing adult origami.
Yeah, that was the one thing. Like she was doing adult origami, and she stood in line for a long time. And I just thought it was hilarious that there were people doing like origami at 11:30 at night,
Yeah,
but they're making like paper dicks and stuff.
love it.
Yeah. But that line, she sent me a video of the line, and it was so fucking long. Maybe she'll post it if I ask her in the Discord.
If we all ask nicely, maybe she will.
Yeah, you gotta ask nicely for that video.
Yeah.
Um,
I also want to see any paper dicks she may have made.
yes, okay. I'll ask her about that too. But there was a time yesterday where I found myself like completely cut off from the world.
Oh no.
Because she was doing stuff with her sister at Dragon Con. Like I didn't look at my phone for a long time, and I was just playing like Fortnite in a flow state. It was
But you
weird.
were playing it with friends.
Yeah, so I was playing with Ryan and Kevin for a while, and then I played with Anna. But it felt like it didn't feel like my real life. It was weird.
Hmm.
We're gonna find out. Like I'm going through some psychotic break.
I hope not.
Because I'm seeing ghosts and
How's
like
therapy going?
I gotta find a new therapist because the one that I
Oh.
had
Farting
Was-
too much?
no she wasn't farting. She kept like giving me handouts and then not asking for them.
What the fuck?
To which to me, like, if I'm paying you lots of money to see you, like, don't give me a fucking PDF.
Yeah.
Let's just talk it out. I'm not
Or,
trying
like,
to
at
do
least if you-
homework.
If you do, you gotta go over that shit. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, she didn't even ask for it to go over it. So I was like,
Yeah,
You're-
new therapist.
you're doing
time.
some paint by numbers shit, and I don't like it. That was it though. Like I started a new short story that I think is gonna be fun. That'll probably go up on my site
Oh, hell yeah.
when I finish that. It's an idea I've had for a while, but I haven't started writing it. But I did start, and then we're writing my comic and stuff. And I started on a new theme song for the show, and I have a dilemma.
Okay.
The dilemma is it's so fucking catchy that I don't know if I want to use it for the theme song for the show. It's
But
like
that's
one of the.
good.
It is, but it's like, do I want to burn this on a theme song, or do I want to like spend a lot of time and like put work into this and make it an actual song?
Are there lyrics?
Yeah, for the theme song.
But okay, if you made it into an actual song, would you be able to keep the same lyrics?
No. Well, it would be like it would be about something completely different.
Hmm.
So I'd have to write lyrics for it. But the song itself, the music itself, will get stuck in your head, I think. It's like it's incredibly catchy.
Well, I have no problem with our current theme song, so if you want to use that for an actual musical project, I will not begrudge you.
Okay. I might let you hear it just to be like, listen to this shit that I did that's incredibly catchy.
Perfect.
Okay. What did we watch last week?
We watched a lot of stuff together.
We actually did. I was looking at this list. It's kind of a big list.
Yeah,
I think I
You-
might be missing stuff too.
you are. You missed something that we didn't like that we also forgot about in real time.
What was that? Oh yeah. Usual Suspects.
Yeah, we watched Usual Suspects. I think it was just too long, too late, too under the influence.
Yeah, it was
but
too late for sure.
yeah, that we didn't like. Honestly, I cannot relay any beats of that film back to you.
No, the second you hear the size of that guy's dick.
I did.
The Usual Suspects is one of those things where it's of its time, I think, and the second act drags hard.
Mm.
All of its punch is in the twist, so
Yeah.
you're like watching it to get to the twist, basically. But that second act drags too hard, and we were watching it. It was like 12 a.m. my time or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I remember about it is the ending.
Yeah, we're
which
not
is
gonna.
good.
Don't spoils.
I'm not gonna.
It's one of the most famous twists of all time, but
yeah.
if anyone wants to watch that, it sucks to have that spoiled because it's famous.
Other than that, we watched some movies we did like
Yeah.
True Grit.
I love True Grit.
Yeah, I don't know what got us on like a Jeff Bridges kick this week.
It was me being upset that you'd never seen the Big Lebowski, but you didn't want to watch the Big Lebowski. And we were going through the Coen brothers, like the stuff that the Coen brothers have made.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw True Grit, and that's what it was. I was like, oh, True Grit's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and I like Westerns, so that I
Yeah.
wanted to do that more than Lebowski.
That was one of our earliest. I think our foray into Val Kilmer started with Tombstone.
It did.
That was like one of our earliest personal watch-alongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Westerns too, which is weird because I used to fucking hate them. My dad used to force me to watch them.
Yeah, I think same. Like my dad was into John Wayne and Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
So I definitely saw those too young to be interested. But then I played Red Dead Redemption 2 and it got me into Westerns.
True Grit's a great movie. And
It is.
I forgot. It's got like really fun lines in it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one a lot. Jeff Bridges is great.
Yeah. We watched Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior in VR.
Honestly, the only thing I can tell you about that movie was that young Mel Gibson is upsettingly hot.
Yeah.
The problem was that I maybe took too much of something.
Yeah.
And as hard as I was trying, I couldn't pay attention. Anytime anybody spoke, I completely forgot what we were doing.
Well, not only that, but you picked Steve found an amazing concept and you picked the wrong week to have taken that much of that thing because
it was an accident. I took the same amount last week and was fine. It was just like,
I would say half of that movie we were listening to Mel Gibson's angry voicemails.
Yes. I did not miss that. I definitely heard that and reacted with all the appropriate oh no's to all the anti-Semitism and shit.
Just the fucking absurd. It was so abusive that it was funny.
Yeah, just the things coming out of his mouth were not human.
No. He was panting wildly like a fucking wounded dog or something. It was weird.
It was. He maybe took too much of something.
When we had Mad Max in the background or in the foreground and those calls in the background and they were lining up to shit in the movie.
It kept lining up weirdly well, which I feel like maybe if we watched it not on too much of something, it wouldn't line up as well. But in the moment, it's brilliant.
It was one of the greatest cinematic experiences. It was I've never heard those calls for one. I've heard snippets. I've heard the snippet where he berates her for losing his Lakers tickets. But I've never heard the whole thing. And it's just so fucking over the top abusive. And I was laughing really hard. But then when at the end of the movie, I was like, that was really abusive. And I was laughing, but she was being tortured.
Right. But
in the moment,
by a crazy person. She was barely saying anything.
By a crazy person who controls you and and she, I don't know much about her, but I guess she was a recording artist.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So you've got this like fucked up power dynamic. And the only comfort for her could have been that she knew he was incriminating himself.
Oh yeah, big time.
But yeah, it was really abusive. But when you're hearing him do it in that way, it's almost like it wasn't real.
Yeah, it was just so over the top that it really seemed like an actor putting on a performance while also going on this really horrifying tirade.
Yeah. And I only found the novelty while we were watching the movie. It wasn't until
Yes.
after the movie was over that I was like, oh, that probably hurt her a lot.
I just remember like listening to it and being like, this is ridiculous, and then he'd say something and everybody would be like, oh no.
Yeah, dude. It's really bad.
It was more the like real-time reactions that really got me.
Yeah. I wonder how that's got to be the only time those calls have been listened to by an audience like in a while.
Probably.
I'm not sure those calls have ever been listened to by an audience. Maybe like someone probably played it on a podcast at some point.
Probably. I imagine it was not done whilst watching Mad Max 2.
No, not with like 10 other people.
Mm-hmm.
But that was what a weird experience. VR just births weird experiences.
Yes, it does.
We watched The Big Lebowski.
Hmm.
You didn't like it.
I didn't like it. I think that had I taken too much of that substance before Big Lebowski, it would have been a better experience.
Probably, yeah.
I just didn't expect it to be like as strange as it was. There are a lot of like dream sequences that go places.
Yeah.
Like it had its moments for me, but the rest of the time I was going, what the fuck is even happening?
It's absurd.
Yeah.
You want to know a weird universe thing that happened to me today?
Sure.
Our friend Anna told me about this podcast called Dead Eyes that I told you about yesterday. But I was talking to Anna about Band of Brothers, and she was talking about Quakers, and I was like, oh, there's a Quaker in Band of Brothers. They hate him for it for some reason, but I don't really understand why. Apparently Quakers are pacifists.
Yeah.
So that would be why. But she told me about this podcast called Dead Eyes, where it was this comedian guy whose name is escaping me right now, got cast in like a bit role in like episode 5 of Band of Brothers, and then Tom Hanks fired him and said it was because he had dead eyes.
That's so weird.
And it like haunted him. Like, it's a comedian, and I could see how it would haunt you.
Yeah. Especially coming from Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why the premise of the podcast is so fucking hilarious, because Tom Hanks is like the most lovable guy in Hollywood.
Woody the Cowboy told me I had dead eyes.
Yeah. But that's like, of course he's lovable, but I would say that project is his magnum opus. So I understood going in, like, of course he's going to be crazy about the casting, because this is like his baby.
Just what a weird note.
So like his casting people messed up. But they also mentioned it in episode 1 that whoever told him that Tom Hanks said he had dead eyes, like, should not have told him that.
No.
Like, it should not have relayed that part.
Also, can't there be a fix for that? Like, put in some colored contacts and like cream around your eyes or some shit to make them open.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, the thing is, they were going to give him, like, Tom Hanks is nice, so he was giving him a second chance. So they like drove him back to meet with Tom Hanks to like do another audition. But the dead eyes thing was in the back of his head the whole time. So he probably like was bulging his eyes out or something.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. Whoever told him that's why he got fired, like, fucked up. It wasn't really Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks just saw something that wasn't right for his perfect thing that he wanted to do.
But
which I get.
Like, I would want to know that.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, okay, I guess I wouldn't, but it's a really funny story to tell people as a comedian.
He's been telling that story since it happened.
Yeah.
So he's getting like people on this podcast, like famous people who he's told the story to over the years. And I'm only like 5 episodes in, but this shit's great.
Is that the premise of every episode? Like him telling somebody that Tom Hanks told him he has to.
No, it's like weird. So the podcast has seasons. I'm 5 episodes into the first season. He just talked to Ryan Johnson, who did the
Knives
Star
Out?
Wars. Huh?
Oh,
Knives Out too, yeah.
yeah.
But he did Star Wars, and this comedian was like connecting it back to Band of Brothers somehow. But he had like, he was doing a troll site that was doing like Star Wars rumors back after he got fired from Band of Brothers. And those troll rumors were getting picked up by like Variety and stuff like that. But he was doing it under the pseudonym of Ryan Johnson. So it's like these episodes are all weirdly tying in.
Huh.
But the reason that I bring it up is because in one of these episodes, it was like 3, I think, he had Amy Mann. Do you know who that is?
No.
Amy Mann is like a really, really great musician that never blew up as hard as she should have because she doesn't really play the game.
Mm.
But she was in this movie called, I would say she blew up the most from her work in Magnolia, which is a Tom Cruise movie that I wouldn't mind watching again, but it's long as fuck. And I don't think you would like it. But she has a really great song in that. Anyway, she tied back into this thing somehow. But when they were talking, it was revealed that she was ordering pancakes in the Big Lebowski. Do you remember the German chick who orders pancakes in the diner?
No.
Well, shit. Anybody who's seen the Big Lebowski,
Oh, no.
it's with
Kind of.
so it's Flea from the Red Hot Chili
Yes,
Peppers is one
okay,
of these
yeah.
weird nihilist people.
Do you know why I was confused? In I think the last episode of What We Do in the Shadows,
Yeah.
there's a scene where they're all like sitting in Nadja's nightclub, and it's 3 famous people. One of them is Sofia Coppola, and there's like 2 other directors.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, just that scene and the diner scene in Big Lebowski got conflated for
Oh, yeah. So Amy Mann, which I didn't pick up on at all. Amy Mann, whose music I've been listening to since the 90s, was randomly that playing that German chick
weird.
ordering pancakes. Yeah. And I didn't know it except for this Dead Eyes podcast.
Well, I'm sorry to everyone who loves Big Lebowski. It just didn't hit me the way I wanted it to. You can
That's always
berate me on
weird.
Twitter.
It is a cult classic, so it's not that weird.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of times what happens with cult classics is that it gets so hyped up because it's so universally beloved that
Yeah.
when I go into it, I'm expecting to love it, and it's just kind of a product of its time that had to hit you at the right point in your life.
But did you like John Turturro's character?
Oh, of course.
That's all that matters. He's the best.
Yeah, he's great.
Jesus, the bully man.
That man is like not recognized enough for being such a versatile actor. He can be absolutely ridiculous, like a Mr. Deeds I like feet guy.
Yeah.
And then like terrifying and like
Yeah.
the Batman and shit.
He can have sage wisdom, like in one of my favorite movies, Rounders,
Mm-hmm.
where he plays Kanish. That might be in our hate watch parade. Does it count as a sports movie? Poker? I don't. I think, dude, we should watch Rounders. Rounders is
Are
good.
you asking me if poker is a sport?
No, I'm just like wondering if it goes in the hate watch parade or if it goes in like a
No.
classic watch along.
I
We
don't
should
think
watch
it
Rounders.
needs to be in the hate watch parade.
We got to watch Rounders for sure.
Okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think you would like it.
Okay.
So we watched The Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
We watched Polar, which was your
Yeah.
suggestion.
Yeah, it's a Netflix original, so adjust your expectations. It stars Mads Mikkelsen, whom I love, but also I love Mads Mikkelsen in like an action movie because I just love to watch the man fight.
Yeah.
It's bizarre because it's almost like a John Wick, but with like Austin Powers villains.
Yeah.
And
It's very cartoony.
Yeah, I think it's based on a comic book, which is why it's like that. But it has such serious, like almost melancholy elements to it but then it's also this ridiculous like romp.
They shot a fart out of a very large man.
Yes, who was like, yeah, that's yeah.
Except it wasn't a butt fart. It was he farted out of the bullet hole.
He
Tell
I
me I'm
don't know
wrong.
No, you're not wrong. They like torture this very large man in Texas, and all of the villains are ridiculous. And so, but there's that, and then there's like Mads Mikkelsen getting tortured, rescuing his young neighbor who has been like drugged out on heroin. Like it's such a weird contrast. But I just enjoy the movie because it's like fun and ridiculous and actiony. I don't know. Give it a shot.
I liked it. You can't ignore the John Wickian qualities of
Oh,
it.
it's a very John Wick.
That's a to the point where I meant to. You said it was like based on a Dark Horse property.
Yeah.
I meant to look at the comic to see which one because I'm wondering if it is a John Wick adaptation.
Oh, maybe.
Because I think John Wick's also based off of a book,
Oh.
but I don't know which one. I don't know about that universe very much.
Yeah, I just think Mads is in a lot of foreign language movies, so if you're not someone who likes to watch stuff with subtitles, it's a more accessible Mads movie.
Yeah.
But there certainly are better ones. It's just fun.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. It was worth the watch.
Yeah.
I would give it like a 6.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
It was perfectly fine to me.
There's a scene where Mads is teaching or he's a guest at like a preschool or elementary school class of some sort, and he's
That's
like
funny.
showing everybody a knife and like pictures of dead bodies. And they're all like, yay!
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah.
And the last thing we watched was something like one of the first DVDs I ever owned. And one of the greatest soundtracks that I forgot about.
Mhm.
That's Go from 1999, I think.
I've had that Magic Carpet Ride song stuck in my head all day and night.
They do use it well.
Yes.
But that was there's a screenwriter named John August who has a podcast called Script Notes that I listen to every week. And that was his first screenplay. And I'd forgotten how good the writing was.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
If you want to see what screenwriting can do, I say watch that movie and then look at the screenplay because it's messing with time for one. So it's like
Mhm.
giving you the perspective of a drug deal from 3 different people. And they're all like branching off into 3 different adventures, basically.
And
that
then
all
like rejoining.
that rejoin at the end and they all tie together. And there's like loose ends that you completely forgot about that get tied up.
Uh-huh.
It's just like masterclass writing. And as I was watching it near the end, I was like I could visualize the index cards on a board, on a cork board, which is fun. I could visualize him putting that story together. But that's really good writing and it's just a fun movie in general.
Yeah, it was a real good time. I have one thing that I watched independently of you, which yesterday I restarted and finished Under the Banner of Heaven, which
Oh.
is another thing that we started and watched one episode of
Yeah.
whilst under the influence of too much of something. So it was very necessary for me to rewatch the pilot because there's a lot of characters and there were definitely story beats I did not remember or like didn't get quite right.
You watched the
So-
whole first season?
Yeah, I think it's only 7 episodes, I want to say.
Yeah, but that's a good time commitment. So it must have
Yeah, it was-
kept your attention.
It was, I think, over the course of 2 days I watched it. It is good. It's not like the best in terms of being a murder mystery, but it is based on a true crime novel, so based on a true story. So it's not like they could really get that creative with the actual happenings.
Right.
But I think it's more interesting from the perspective of like an inside look into a predominantly Mormon community and how scary it can be when religious zealots are essentially in charge of an entire town. Because it has a lot to do with this family who are like very Mormon, deciding to get into fundamental Mormonism, which is like polygamy and blood atonement, like stuff the church has banned long ago.
Yeah.
But they're like this very powerful family in the community, and can easily get other people to follow them because they're making themselves and others believe that God is talking directly to them and anything they say is word of law. So I think it's more interesting from that perspective than the actual murder mystery part of it.
Yeah.
And very scary and makes you wary of organized religion.
Oh, I didn't need help with that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but it just solidifies that for me. So yeah, I think it's worth a watch. It's decent. All the performances are real good. It has a lot of actors I like. Also, remember that storyline in Hell on Wheels that you hated so much about the Mormon family who
Yeah.
was like fighting for their property and sacrifices a son to be hung because he takes the
Yeah.
blame for his father shooting a cop?
Yeah.
Something very similar happens in Under the Banner of
good.
Heaven. So I don't think it was bad writing so much as like a very Mormon thing where they justify sacrifice, like sacrificing a child, because in their eyes, you're supposed to go with like Mormon law above actual government laws. And if you have to sacrifice even a son for the cause of Mormonism, it's worth it and you'll be rewarded in heaven. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't think it's as unbelievable as you thought it was in Hell on
I'm sure they
Wheels.
handled it more elegantly under the banner of heaven.
Not a lot.
That's insane to me.
Yeah.
I might not watch it. I hate the Swede. I was thinking
Yeah.
about that. Like, I just hate that. I hate that actor, maybe.
Which means he's a good actor.
Yeah. Yeah, he plays hateable characters, so he's getting me, but it might be too much.
Yeah. He's not like mega evil or anything in Under the Banner of Heaven. It's just that he's, again, like a very religious, like patriarch of a Mormon family. So a lot of the stuff he does is questionable, but not villainous necessarily.
Right. Well, that's cool. I didn't know you were watching that again.
Yep.
The Swede fucked it up for me. And like, I don't know if I care that much about the Mormon storylines.
Yeah, it really puts a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, and I already had one.
Mhm.
Although, like, every Mormon I've ever talked to in real life has been like a delight.
Yeah, I
That's-
think it's more the like old practices that are more problematic. Not to say there aren't certainly problematic practices that are still happening, but I also think like I know Mormons who either are not super fastidious about their practices or they were former Mormons who got out of the church
Yeah.
and are now like emotionally scarred because of it. So
It's
not gonna condemn every Mormon for these practices, but it is always really eye-opening when any kind of institution is run by old men who should probably be like eating creamed corn on their screened-in porch and yelling slurs at their neighbors walking dogs.
yeah.
And also, it's very very misogynist, and if like you're basing your entire religion on believing men who claim to hear the Holy Spirit, and I don't believe men in general. So
Wow, thanks.
yeah.
That religion is so weird because it's like the closer to the sun you fly, the crazier it gets. But the further away, it's like their families produce like really nice people. So it's a
Yeah.
weird dichotomy.
You're right, because it's like they don't acknowledge their history that much. If they're asked about where a lot of their practices come from, they're kind of like, we don't look towards the past, we look towards the present and all the like changes for the better we've made in the church, but you can't ignore the fact that there's a lot of problematic history.
Yeah, like a ton.
A lot.
Still ongoing. Like cover-ups ongoing.
Oh yeah. Anyway, that was a little bit of a religious tangent there,
Yeah.
but if you watch Under the Banner of Heaven, you'll understand.
This is a religious podcast now.
No.
Oh, I meant to ask you. I think last episode, we uncovered that you're not Catholic.
Right.
I thought you were.
No. Never said I was.
Because you're Italian. So I like just
Ah.
put 2 and 2 together.
No, my family was raised Catholic when they were young and living in New Jersey. A lot of my family's from New Jersey. So I
Yeah.
think my parents like grew up in the Catholic Church, but I think when they were still teenagers, my grandparents converted to Christianity.
Like what branch?
Um
Do you know?
I don't think they necessarily ascribe to a specific branch of Christianity. They're not.
Can't be like Baptist.
No, they're not Baptists, but I don't really know how they would describe themselves. They're not.
Cool.
Yeah, they're not like super old school, like, I don't know. But anyway, at some point they converted from Catholicism to Christianity, but it was long before I was born.
Okay.
So by the time I came into the picture, my family was Christian.
That makes me feel better. That makes me feel better about assuming Catholicism. I figured like if you come from Italy, then you got that Roman stink on you.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, the time for asking
Question?
is right now.
We have questions from the Discord.
We do.
The first is from Giant Tom Hanks, aka Tyler, who asks, "What is your favorite season 1 finale of a show or shows?" Do you have one?
I struggled with this because even for shows that I love, they don't always have great first seasons or, finales.
Yeah.
So I think I looked more towards shorter, even limited series for this. So I think maybe Haunting of Hill House,
Oh yeah.
which is just a
That's-
one-off.
That's actually a great one.
Yeah, I also thought of maybe Handmaid's Tale because
Mm.
the first season ends where the book ends, and I actually didn't go on from there because I was like, I don't know if I want. I'm sure it's great, but I was like, I don't know if I want to continue.
I had the
after
same
this.
experience with that shit. It was too heavy.
Yeah, and like I was satisfied with that ending because that is where the novel ends. So either one of those two.
Mine was Heroes.
I've actually never seen Heroes.
I don't know if I'd recommend it or not. It's of its time, I think, and I think if you watched it now, it might be cheesy.
Is it? I forget if it's one that just like got canceled or if it just got worse and worse as the seasons went on.
Heroes has one of the weirdest arcs because, okay, when it came out, it was a smash hit,
Mm-hmm.
like big hit, and it was great, and it had a really great finale, and you're like chomping at the bit for season 2, but there was a writer's strike. It was the same writer's strike that like torpedoed Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien couldn't really do his late night show, and that's what started him off like touring and stuff. But the writer's strike really fucked Heroes because it came back to one of the worst seasons of television I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard, and that's what kind of put me off.
So that's why I picked this one, because there's such a cliff dive of a fall off from season 1 to season 2. And this was one of the shows where you're like chomping at the bit for season 2.
Yeah.
The only other one I would do is probably like Lost.
Yeah, that's solid. I thought about that, but I couldn't like solidly remember the finale of season 1.
That's the general problem that I have with this question in general.
Mhm.
It's
Especially for shows like Lost that had a lot of seasons.
I can remember chomping at the bit for the next season, but I can't remember anything that happens in the first seasons. Like my memory
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
That's why I cheated and went with shows that only had one season or very few seasons.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. But the ones that I remember chomping for the bit for were like Heroes and Lost. Those are the 2 big ones.
Mhm.
We have another question
We
from
do.
Berserker Tati, our friend Tatiana, who is Magicless Mage at Etsy if you want
Fuck
stickers.
yeah.
She asks, what Disney or similar like Pixar movie would you like to see remastered into an adult live action film? And yours is?
The Road to El Dorado.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen that?
No, I wasn't a big Disney guy.
It's not Disney. It's fuck. it's the other one.
20th century fuck.
20th century fuck. No, DreamWorks, I think.
Oh,
But
you
it's-
cheated.
No, she said Disney or similar.
All right, cheater.
It's not cheating.
What's the road to El Dorado?
It is about two con men who accidentally find their way to the lost city of El Dorado and like kind of formulate this plan to smuggle out a bunch of the gold and escape, but in the process get like very attached to the city and the people.
This sounds familiar.
It's great also because the soundtrack is Elton John. So it's a fucking banging soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's like comparable to what Phil Collins did for Tarzan.
I was gonna say Lion King.
No.
Okay.
But I love it because the main characters, Miguel and Tulio, are so like lovable and charismatic. And I really just want to see who would be cast as those characters. Like obviously the people who voiced them would be great, but they're a little old for the role now.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see who would be cast.
Well, I have no input. I've never seen that.
It's fucking great. Everyone should watch The Road to El Dorado. Maybe
there's probably a lot of people listening who are like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, I'll make you watch it at some point.
I don't know about it.
Yeah.
If it's a cartoon, I have issues.
I know. I have issues like getting the ambition to watch cartoons because it feels wrong. It feels like a little kid thing. But once I do, I usually fall in love with it. If it's not, because a lot of like 90s projects or even early aughts weren't just made for kids. They were made to appeal to kids, but also draw in the adults who have to watch it because they have kids.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those projects are appealing to both.
Yeah. If I watched it, I would probably like it. I have trouble like, getting steam.
There's definitely some dirty jokes in it.
Ooh. Oh yeah, dirty joke.
So what's yours?
A Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's very fun.
Just out of pure curiosity. Like,
do you imagine it would still be a Tim Burton project, just live action?
Yeah, I think you got to go with Tim Burton still.
Yeah.
I think it's basically would turn into the aesthetic would be like Edward Scissorhands, I imagine.
Yeah.
And I would want to know who he'd cast and what that would look like, because I think that movie's got a very interesting, like very cartoony aesthetic that that would not translate well to real life, but I'd like to see someone try.
I think that if anyone could, it would be Tim Burton because his live action movies are very similarly styled.
Yeah, it would end up looking like Beetlejuice, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is cool with me. I like The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, me too.
I would think I would like a live action version more than I like the cartoon, like the stop motion-y version.
I don't know about
is it stop motion?
Yeah, it's stop motion.
Okay. My memory just failed. I was like, wait, I know that's
like,
stop motion.
Claymation?
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Which I guess it's still cartoony, by the way. It's just more technically impressive.
Yeah.
I've been playing out a lot of hypotheticals in my mind.
Hey, me too. Someone from the Discord asked what this song was called, and it's called Hypotheticals.
Wow, go figure.
By Lake Street Drive. It's a good song, so if you want to look that up, that's a banger.
Yeah.
Our hypothetical question I found impossible to answer this week. It is from Joseph Palka, and it reads, if you could create a new cliche for any movie or TV show, what would you call it? What would it be, and why?
I also completely forgot to think about this.
This is the wrong question to forget to think about.
I know. Did you?
Yes, I still had trouble coming up with an answer. I went with a comedy option, I think. So if I could create a new cliche, and so I thought for a long time about what that meant in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what he means is like Bollywood movies where they do like a dance at the end. But I'm
I was
not
thinking
sure.
like a trope.
Yeah, but I was okay.
But
What
I mean,
I
I guess same interpretation essentially.
what I came up with is a new cliche where everybody wears luchador masks no matter what. Like no matter what kind of movie they're in, everybody wears a luchador mask, because if you don't wear a luchador mask, nobody watches your thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think
And you
first of
like
all,
it's like rom-coms where they're kissing through the mask, and action movies and everything. Comedies, just everybody's Jack Black and Nacho Libre.
I don't want that.
I don't either, but I was just coming up with a funny thing. And I
Yeah,
think
I
that
think-
would be funny.
My approach to this was also a comedy option, I think, because to me, I couldn't think of a real thing that would become not only so commonplace in film, but so commonplace to the point where it becomes like expected and like eye roll inducing.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anything serious.
No, me neither. This is a really tough question.
Yeah, the Palkas have different brains and they're beautiful, but we're idiots.
Yeah, I'm kind of a dumb idiot. Can you dumb your question down?
So I feel like there are a lot of horror tropes that are specific to the horror genre that I
Mhm.
kind of want to be more widespread. Like what if it was like the concept of a final girl, but in literally everything. Like there's only one surviving female, like it's always a virgin.
Yeah.
But in like anything, like a Disney movie.
Oh, is everybody dying?
Yeah.
Great. That's a great one. So everything you watch, you know everybody but the virgin's gonna die.
Right, exactly.
Wow.
So you don't get too attached.
That's fucked up. What?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the most fucked up movie to do that to.
Probably any Disney movie.
Yeah, but
Although
what would
honestly not that different, considering for the most part any Disney movie only ends with like the princess and the prince. It just would be just the princess.
So in The Lion King, it would at the end it would just be everybody's dead except for Scar and Nala.
You assume Scar is a virgin?
No, Nala's the virgin.
But why would Scar still be alive?
Because he's the killer.
The killer doesn't live.
Nala kills the killer. Isn't this a horror?
Oh, okay. But you said the only people still alive would be Nala and Scar.
Right, because Scar has killed everybody else. Isn't that the trope?
I guess so, but I assumed you meant he lives at the end of the movie. But no,
Oh.
you're right. If Nala kills Scar, then yes,
No.
that would be the final girl scenario.
He dies, but he comes back in the sequel.
Yes, perfect.
And then he kills everybody but the virgin again.
There is an old my brother and me bit called Nuthead. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, I think it came from a listener who wrote in a question about like having a nightmare that ends with like seeing somebody with a human body, but like a small walnut for a head.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they created this universe where like what if every movie you watch ends with like after the credits you just see like a hand come out from out of nowhere and like pull itself up and it's the nut head.
Oh
Like,
no.
that's what I imagine every movie would be turned into if this was the trope. Like every single movie ends, but then there's like a post-credit scene where the villain is still alive
And he's got a nut head.
and he's got a nut head.
Why
I'll
did you
send
do
the
that?
bit.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Make that your cliche, because I want everybody to have nut heads.
Yeah. Just look up Mabim Bam Nuthead on YouTube and you'll find the bit. It's very good. I'll
You
make
can't
Jesse
say
listen to it.
Mabim Bam and think people know what that is. Mabim. What'd you say?
I said
Mabim
my brother
Bam?
and me before.
My
Mabim Bam.
brother.
MBMBAM.
My brother. MB. Mub. Yeah.
My brother,
My brother
and me.
Mabim Bam.
Bam.
All right. Shit. I retract. Makes sense. Mabim Bam. That's fun to say too.
It is.
Mabim Bam. I can't listen to that podcast very much because those guys they're too over the top for me.
No, they're so funny.
They are. I have this trouble in general. If there are like a lot of people being extra, I can't listen to it for super long. That's why I can't listen to the last podcast on the left very much either.
I mean, I get it, but I also fucking adore the McElroy brothers, and they make me laugh harder than most people.
I do like their Adventure Zone podcast a lot.
Yeah. I think apologies for anyone who is a big Travis fan, but I think Travis could go and it would be the same dynamic, which is what Monster Factory on YouTube is. It's just Griffin and Justin, and it's better in my opinion.
Are we starting inner podcast wars?
No, I don't think it's an uncommon.
You're gonna get us
opinion.
ratioed. You're gonna get us ratioed by these crazy Mabim Bam people.
Yeah. Here's the thing. We've been recording for an hour and haven't even talked about any movie and TV news.
All right,
yet,
that's
so
fine.
We need to move on.
Let's do some movie and television news. How about it?
How about it?
Nicolas Cage to star in A24 comedy Dream Scenario with Ari Aster producing.
Whoa.
Nicolas Cage meets Ari Aster.
And A24.
And A24. I am very intrigued.
That could either be like as compelling as Hereditary and Midsommar, or it could go in a very Mandy direction, and I'm not in for that. But
the problem is that Ari Aster is producing and not directing.
Oh, I see.
So I don't know. He is still pulling strings.
Yeah.
But not directly. I don't know who's directing this, but
I'll watch it.
All of those names in combination with each other make me excited.
I missed the part where it says comedy. I want horror.
Oh, you want a Nicolas Cage, Ari Aster horror? That would make sense.
Yeah.
Interesting. I miss comedy too.
You assume with Ari Aster.
Yeah, I completely skimmed over that comedy part.
Yeah, same.
I was thinking Nicolas Cage, Hereditary. That's going to be fun.
Right, same. I want that.
Yeah. It's still interesting to me, though. I bet that's going to be batshit.
Probably.
My other bit of news here is Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase to star in Zombie Town film based on R.L. Stine book.
Oh my God.
And I only put this on here because I love these guys from Spies Like Us, which is like one of my favorite 80s movies. But there's no way that chemistry still exists.
Yeah. I'm picturing like an Animal House scenario.
I don't know. It's so weird that they're in an R.L. Stine book adaptation for one. So that's got to be like a kid's show. But both of these actors are now batshit insane.
But R.L. Stine is also of that generation where it's like, yeah, it's technically for kids, but it's also fucked up.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting.
Did you read Goosebumps books?
Not really. There used to be a Goosebumps TV show that I would like oftentimes start and then stop because it scared me too much.
Yeah, I watched that. I read the books. I was a Goosebumps boy. But yeah, Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase always excites me until I think about it too much.
Yeah. It's like, well, it excites you because you're picturing Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase from like the 80s.
Yes, when they had chemistry and they weren't. Dan Aykroyd is certifiably insane now. He's a fucking crazy person.
Well.
And Chevy Chase is like
is a dick, right?
Is a dick bag. Like,
yeah.
Biggest dick bag you could ever think of.
Yeah, and we know that about them now is the problem.
So I have a duality going on in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to watch it. That's the only reason I put it on there. So I could talk about how crazy those two are now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. And I honestly feel like it could work for an R.L. Stine book.
Yeah. I mean, it could.
We come together on a huge silver screen because we need that, all of us. That indescribable feeling we get feels good in a place like this.
I'm coming.
Felicia.
Yes.
What's coming out in theaters this week?
Well, apparently there is only one movie coming out in theaters that I've heard from our friend Steve is very good. It's called Barbarian.
On September 8th.
It's a horror thriller about a woman staying at an Airbnb who discovers the house she has rented is not what it seems.
I was excited about this movie before
Yeah.
Steve went and saw it.
I
And
don't
then
think I knew about it.
I knew it from show research. I saw it a few weeks ago.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, that looks good. And then Steve went to a screener, and apparently it's fucking good.
It's got a really good cast.
Yeah. We got Georgina Campbell from Broadchurch.
I love Broadchurch.
We got a Skarsgård, the It one.
Yeah, he's great.
We got Justin Long from Dodgeball and Tusk.
I like his performance in Dodgeball. I will not watch Tusk.
Noted. And it is written directed by Zach Kreger from The Whitest Kids You Know.
Wow.
Which is that's a funny man.
Yeah, so there's another movie that's on Netflix that I don't know if it might be coming up, otherwise who cares. It's about like two people who rent an Airbnb at the same time accidentally. And I really thought that was this for some reason. And that's is a very different vibe.
Yeah, super different.
But there's a lot of Airbnb horror out there now.
Yeah, it's just you're picking a setting that people can relate to.
Yeah, it's like how during the pandemic a bunch of like Zoom horror came out.
Yeah. That's lazy.
Yes, it is.
But I was still excited by this movie. It looked good.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Hell yeah. That's it. September 8th, go see Barbarian. I bet it's going to do well because it's it.
That's it, yeah.
That's it. That's all that's coming out. Top Gun Maverick is still like dominating the box office because there's fucking nothing.
I mean, as it should be.
It's good.
Yeah.
But still, it's indicative of just how much nothing there is.
Yeah.
New on streaming, Pinocchio comes out a day after this episode airs. I just added it to the list.
Yeah, this is another thing where I got confused about because this Pinocchio is it's an adventure comedy drama on Disney Plus. It's a live action adaptation of Disney's Pinocchio.
Yeah.
It stars Tom Hanks.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, my boy.
Yeah, the reason that I was confused is because there is another Pinocchio in the works, but that's a Guillermo del Toro Pinocchio. So it's going to be a fucked up Pinocchio.
Yeah.
And I'm like really looking forward to that because it looks beautiful. So when this news came about, I was really excited because I thought it was that. So it's not.
No, this is Robert Zemeckis, who I always think is dead.
Did you watch, was Pinocchio in your repertoire as a kid?
Nope, most Disney stuff I didn't like because of, I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I used to go to my grandma's house. She had nothing, like no antenna. So we were like forced to watch tapes. Mm-hmm. And she only had like 3 or 4 tapes and they were Disney tapes. And I was forced to watch like Robin Hood, which I still hate to this day. Peter Pan, which I still hate to this day. And like some other shit. But I think that's probably by and large why I don't like cartoons, other than like the stint I did as I was a daycare counselor for a couple of summers. And they would just play like Land Before Time on repeat, and I can't watch that shit anymore. Yeah, that's basically why I don't like cartoons, I think.
Well, Pinocchio I have definitely seen, but it was never a movie I really liked as a child because it's kind of scary for children. Like, I think there's a point where they get swallowed by a big whale that I remember being afraid of as a kid. So I mean, it looks very Disney magical, but I just pulled up Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It says 2022. I don't know when it's supposed to come out, but it looks like it's so it's in post-production. It's a Netflix original show. It's expected December 9th of 2022. It's the animation style. It looks like it's a stop motion, and it looks so much more my aesthetic. It's got Ewan McGregor, it's got Ron Perlman, Finn Wolfhard.
I'm way more likely to watch that than I am this.
Tilda Swinton, Cate Blanchett, John Turturro. Fuck, oh my god, I'm so in.
Yeah, it's got all the people.
Yeah.
I'm more into a fucked up Pinocchio than this one for sure.
Yeah, I am yes, please give it to me.
I don't know when I will be sure to tell you when it's coming out.
Yeah, expected in December, I guess. Anyway, I'm looking forward to that more than this.
I wonder, is Pinocchio in the public domain now or something? Why is it Netflix?
Maybe. That's why I was really confused when I saw the trailer for the Disney one, because I was like, wait a minute, I've been hearing about the Guillermo del Toro one for a long time now. Which came first?
Maybe Disney is trying to take the wind out of Netflix's sails.
They swooped.
Maybe, yeah. Huh, that's weird. I didn't know that was a thing. I'll have to look that up. I bet there's an interesting story behind that.
Yeah. The next thing on the list, I'm losing my voice, and I have another podcast to record after this.
Oh no.
The next thing on the list is called Pantheon, an animated drama sci-fi on AMC Plus. A young woman begins receiving messages from an unknown number that claims to be her deceased father. Trying to uncover the truth, she stumbles upon a larger conspiracy involving the singularity.
Yeah, this is up my alley, not yours.
But it is produced by the same person who created Turn Washington Spies, which I love very much.
I saw that. The thing is, this is animated. I started watching this. I started watching this last night when I was too tired, which was a mistake, so I might restart it. It's got a very, I very much doubt you're going to remember this, but Aeon Flux.
No.
It's got an Aeon Flux feel about it. It's anime, but it's not like...
yeah, I don't like that.
It's not like sexualized girl anime. It's like dramatized anime. I'm not sure how to explain it. I loved Aeon Flux.
I'm looking at it on IMDb, and it looks like an anime, but it also looks like a What's New Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, the animation style, it feels cheap, which is fine. I don't care. I don't really care about that with an animated thing. Like, they're just storytelling.
Simple. Yeah.
They're telling a story. It seems like it's okay so far, but it's very much like it's a teen girl story. It starts out with her being bullied in school, which I've seen a bunch, but I'm very drawn to the premise of it being about the singularity. That's weird. And I want to know what that is.
It also has a pretty good cast.
Yeah.
Paul Dano, Taylor Schilling from Orange is the New Black. It's got Scott McNairy, our boy from the fucking Lee Pace show. Halt and Catch Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel Day Kim.
I didn't really look that hard at the cast. IMDb does this fucking annoying thing where they bury the lead.
They do.
I don't know why they do that.
I don't understand the who has top billing, because it's not always the main characters first.
Yeah, and I don't know names well enough. So oftentimes when I'm researching for this show, I have to be like, wait, why is this person at the top when it's got Daniel Day-Lewis in it?
Right, yeah.
I have to go fucking go on a wild goose chase. So I'm sure that for a lot of these shows, when we're listing the cast, it's in the wrong order, but I can't do anything about it. I'm just using IMDb.
Yeah, it's just how they list it. Next, we have The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which I know has been highly anticipated. It looks real nice. It's an action-adventure drama on Amazon Prime. It is set thousands of years before the events of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, follows an ensemble cast of characters, both familiar and new, as they confront the long-feared reemergence of evil to Middle-earth.
Yeah.
I don't know any of the cast.
Me neither. I didn't recognize any of them, and when I was looking, which is not really a strike, it could be IMDb listing shit out of order again.
Yeah.
And it could be that they just cast for the roles instead of the notoriety, which I always encourage. I like that. I don't like it when they just cast the names instead of the role.
Yeah.
So I have hopes, but I can't watch this yet because Miriam's at Dragon Con.
I feel like I'll watch this at some point, but I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings person. I'll watch it occasionally when I get the itch to watch a fantasy thing, but even then it's usually kind of on in the background. So it's not a huge anticipatory project for me like it has been for a lot of people, but I think it's going to be worth a watch. It's got to have high production value, and I'm sure they really were stringent on who they cast. So, it's a big big budget project.
Our friend Rob is the biggest Lord of the Rings nerd I know, and I've asked him if he likes it, but I haven't heard back yet. I was hoping he would respond before the podcast, but he's going to be my...
Well, Rob is in our Discord, so please post opinions in
Yeah.
Discord, Rob.
For sure. The next one is
yeah.
We Cry Together. That's a short film on YouTube. I added this because I'm a Kendrick Lamar stan. That's the only reason. It was recorded in one take. It's his story from his latest album. There's a song with Taylor Page from Zola where the song is a couple fighting to a beat.
Interesting.
So like the things they're saying are on beat and they're fighting, and it ends in an interesting way. And I was shocked that YouTube let them show what happens at the end. Also interesting is that I would say this is a music video, but it's classified as a short and it's Oscar eligible.
Interesting.
And I have a feeling it might win an Oscar.
Wow. And
if it does, that would be fucking great. I love Kendrick Lamar, and that would be a path to an EGOT for him.
Whoa.
But I don't know if I could see him. Actually, he's a genius. You don't know.
Not really.
You haven't really listened
I know
to Kendrick
who he
Lamar's.
is, but yeah, no, I'm not big into the genre.
He is a musical genius. So it would not surprise me if he got a Tony too sometime in his career.
Well, rooting for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Kendrick Lamar. I love him.
Next is I Came By, a thriller on Netflix. Follows a young graffiti artist who discovers a shocking secret that would put him and the ones closest to him in danger. Sounds like an interesting premise. I feel like a graffiti artist is bound to stumble upon some shit.
Yeah. I like the premise is the only reason I added this.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds interesting. It's a thriller. It's on Netflix, and it's starring George McKay from 1917. He was great in that.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly MacDonald from No Country for Old Men, and Hugh Bonneville from Downton Abbey. I think this is probably just Netflix fodder.
Yeah.
Check it out if you like thrillers. I don't think I did not get the sense that there's anything super memorable about it.
It definitely feels like just a movie Netflix churned out in the interim of having something actually solid.
Yes. And speaking of that, our next one is Love in the Villa. It's a rom-com also on Netflix. I literally didn't mention who wrote or directed or starred in it because it looks like tripe.
Yeah. Just from the title.
A young woman takes a trip to romantic Verona, Italy after a breakup, only to find the villa she reserved was double booked. Huh.
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I think.
Villa.
Yeah.
When I was reading this, I was like, wait, villa? You must mean this is the Airbnb one.
Right, because this, I was on Netflix, and you know how sometimes it shows you a preview of like what's coming out or whatever.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of the trailer, and I know it stars Tom.
Now I feel like a dick for not putting it on the list.
I recognized him from the trailer. He's from the Umbrella Academy. He's the big guy.
Oh.
Tom something. I can look it up really easily. I just haven't.
This is like literally the only thing in the history of the show where I didn't list the actors.
That's okay. It's not worth it. Tom Hopper.
Okay.
He's also from Black Sails.
It looked bad. To me, this looks like an airport novel as a movie.
Very much so.
So I only put it on here for the rom-com heads who will watch anything.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it's real horny and you guys can enjoy.
It has to be horny because what else? What else
Tom
could it
Hopper
be?
is shirtless in the preview I saw, so I assume it's somewhat horny.
Yes, I think it's an airport romance adaptation.
Yes.
Who invited them is next on Shudder. Comedy horror. Adam and Margot's housewarming party is a success. One couple linger after
the other guest, revealing themselves to be wealthy neighbors. As one nightcap leads to another, Adam and Margot suspect their new friends are duplicitous strangers. Written
and directed by Duncan Birmingham, who's unknown.
Yeah.
Starring a bunch of working actors, which was fun. I was going through their IMDb, like, this one goes back to 2001, Ryan Hansen. He's just a grinder. He's like in TV shit.
I like the idea of referring to working actors as grinding.
That's what it is.
I mean, it is, yeah. It's
Like-
just, it's very, like, video gamey.
This
I'm
dude's-
leveling up over here before I can be in a Netflix original.
Yeah, this guy's just a fucking grinder. If you look
Yeah.
at his IMDb, it's like long as fuck, but it's just like single parts in TV series.
Hmm.
Melissa Tang is the second working actress, grinding since 2016. Same sort of thing. It's like a long list of single appearances in TV shows and stuff. And then Timothy Granaderos, who was Montgomery in 13 Reasons Why, which I didn't watch.
Me
That was that
neither.
Netflix suicide thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just added that because it's Shudder horror. Could be
Yeah.
good.
could be.
If you like horror, check it out. It's called Who Invited Them.
We have another horror on the list next, The Harbinger, horror mystery thriller out on VOD. When a family moves their troubled daughter to a small town and their neighbors start mysteriously dying, they fear something evil has followed them. Could be the troubled daughter, I assume.
Could be. This has a comically low. When I looked, it has a comically low rating. It's like 3.4.
Oh, whoops.
But it's starring Madeline McGraw, who was Gwen from The Black Phone, and she was fucking great in that. That was a little
she
girl.
was, yeah.
She was like the shining part of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but 3.4, not great. I don't
No,
know
that's
if I want
not
to
a-
watch it.
no, I usually don't watch horror if it has below a 5.
Yeah, but I just added it because the little girl from Black Phone was fucking good.
Yeah, she was.
And then the last thing is Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. We talked about last week. Started on Peacock this week, so that's now
Wow.
available for streaming. Felicia, what are we watching this week
We are watching Van Helsing from 2004.
on
The-
Hulu?
This was my pick since there's nothing really coming out.
Yeah,
The reason I wanted to watch this is because it is now September. It's officially the start of the spooky season. We got almost fall approaching. We got pumpkin flavored stuff in coffee shops. So it is time to get spooky. Van Helsing, as I described to Jesse, is the Mummy like in the sense that it is a monster movie that's just like kind of fun and actiony, and also the whole cast is hot. I did not realize that it is written and directed by the same person who wrote and directed The Mummy.
yeah. As I
Um,
was doing research, I was like, oh, no wonder she likes
Yeah,
this.
that's really funny. I didn't realize that's why it was so much like The Mummy to me, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
It stars Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, and Richard Roxburgh. It's great. It's very fun, it's cheesy, and it'll get you in the mood for the spook season.
I thought it was a little on the nose that Kate Beckinsale's in this because she's in Underworld.
Yeah,
So
I
she's
think it
like,
was like similar timing too.
yeah, she got typecast.
Yeah.
I want to say I've seen this. I'm not totally sure. I might have skipped it because I think I heard it was sucked.
I've heard like my more serious friends who are into horror say they hate it, but I'm like, if you like The Mummy, I think you're gonna like this.
Am I allowed to shit on it openly?
Oh sure. I mean, it's absolutely corny.
Okay, so I'll have
Um,
fun making fun of it at least.
Yeah, I think it's just a fun watch.
All right, cool. I'm into it.
Yeah.
You guys can look for that to come out on Friday at 7 in the morning.
Woohoo.
Ooh, Felicia, I think that means we're done.
I think we did it.
Wow. You guys go to idiots.fm and click on the YouTube link and subscribe. We need more people.
Yes, please.
Otherwise, wow, we did it. We'll see you next Wednesday.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Two Idiots Talking Over Stuff, produced by Jesse Stillwell, with original theme and outro music by Jesse Stillwell. For more information, you can visit www.idiots.fm or reach out directly via email to contact@idiots.fm.